are listening to the Godless Smokecast. It is my precious.
Okay, guys, what are your favourite films? Being as you run a movie podcast, you obviously have films that you love. Share them with us.
We do. Would you like to go first?
Well, no, you can go first because you're a lot more definite about your ranking of films.
Well, I mean, thank you.
I did say ranking.
Thank you. You did say ranking. Yes, that's good. I have a top 5. I mean, that's going to be the best way I can describe my movie taste for you.
Right.
But it is in no particular order, and the order of it changes very, very often. But I think that my top 5 movies of all time. Here we go. So, Jaws, Terminator 2, The Sting, Harvey, and JFK, I think.
Wow, pretty eclectic mix there.
An exceedingly eclectic mix. But I like that. I mean, it shows you that, as I've said before on the show, and say quite often, I'm a movie fan. I'm not a genre fan. I don't like horror or action or comedy or anything. I like everything. And, well, apart from musicals. But,
yeah, you like me.
But yeah, I mean, there's a couple that, do break the mold. If you do class South Park the movie as a musical, that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, those 5 are just, it doesn't get much better. I mean, there are always a couple that are nudging into the top 5, like Ghostbusters, or The Thing, or Kill Bill, or, and it's just, there's always ones that are going to be pressed in there. But yeah, that's kind of my top 5 there.
Just make life easy and do a top 10.
No, I can't do that, mate, because then ones that will be nudging in from my top 15 will be coming. Oh, it's just a whole cluster.
Well, let it explain that when we worked together, there was another girl who worked with us who was someone innocent of life experiences.
She was young.
She wasn't very cultured. She hadn't experienced a lot, and so
lovely girl.
We decided, because when we first started working together, within the first hour, we were taking the piss out of each other and had lots of references like Red Dwarf and films and stuff. And
Young Ones, that was a good one.
Young Ones was particularly, and Lisa Bonet. But to the point where one of the other members of staff thought we'd already known each other for a few years before we actually started working together. We said, we've only known each other 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But we tried to get her to watch some films, and she was sort of tentatively trying to be accepting of this.
Yeah.
And we eventually sat down and each of us wrote a list of 100 films we think she should have seen. It wasn't necessarily our favourite 100 films, but ones that we thought were kind of important enough that she should be aware of them. And the trouble was we were trying to bring it down to just being 100. We were used a lot harder than me to try and whittle it down. But even I had trouble trying to get just only 100. There was like lots of wrangling at the end going, oh no, I want to put this in, but I have to take something out, and oh no. So even getting down to a list of 100 films that we actually like is incredibly difficult. So getting a top 10
imagine.
Although I will say, Smeg, don't worry, Big Lebowski was on both of our lists.
Yes.
Yes. Smokey.
Yes, sir.
You're a Jaws fan.
Yeah, one of the greatest movies ever made. I have a very weird thing with Jaws, in that I try not to learn it too much. Because it's one of those movies that I just think that I want to be constantly surprised by. There's something about that movie that, I think I showed Mrs. Smokey in it not too long ago, and she's a lot younger than me, and so it was her first time seeing it. And she did enjoy it, but of course, for a certain generation, I think, you will never see past the rubber shark. But I think if you look past that, you see what a piece of genius that movie is, and why it is used in film schools up until now, to say, actually, this is how you make a movie.
I think Robert Shaw's performance is brilliant in it.
But yeah, I mean, he's incredible. But I mean, when I said my top 5 movies, one of the other movies was The Sting, which has Robert Shaw in a very prominent role as well. And he's unbelievable. I mean, you watch him in the Taking of Pelham 123 as well. It's just, whatever that man comes into contact with, he fucking nails. And, to be fair, he liked to drink, and that came out on the screen as well. But he still did it well.
Right. Which do you prefer, the original of Taking Pelham 123 or the remake?
They're vastly different movies. I mean, one is a sort of heist thriller, and the other is a Tony Scott-esque action movie. So you kind of have to split the two in half. So, but I mean, I enjoyed them both. I mean, I like Denzel Washington, and so I'll pretty much watch him in anything, regardless of how shit it is. But
he was very good in Malcolm 10.
He was Malcolm 10, yes, he was. No, I'd say the original still. I have a fondness for the 70s, so.
Yeah, I do as well. I mean, I think what a lot of people forget about the original taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 is how actually very funny it is. There's some great comedy scenes, especially, with Walter Matthau. He just injects comedy into more or less every role that he has.
Absolutely. It was referenced on a recent episode by our pod pal Stinking Paws, who do them very much longer, more in-depth, and more expert podcast about films. And they were talking about it, and they said exactly the same thing with justification, that it does have these comedy elements in from people who can actually do this delicacy of comic acting within an action framework.
It is actually a really funny movie, but the remake was fine. I mean,
yeah, Travolta I thought was a bit OTT.
Well, I mean, yeah, but did you see?
That's never been said before, has it?
Well, yeah, but did you see Broken Arrow or Battlefield Earth? That was even more.
Do you know what? I very nearly watched Battlefield Earth the other day because it's on Netflix, and I thought, do you know what? Fuck it. I might just watch this and just see how really shit it is. My hand was hovering over the X button on my PlayStation 3 to play it, and I thought, I can't do it.
Don't do it.
Much to my shame, I've seen it about 5 times.
Oh, fucking hell, Sid.
Get out. Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
He says that to me a lot.
Well, it's awesome.
Usually while you're behind me. Anyway.
No, you say get
No, I say get the fuck in then, don't I? Yeah.
Oh,
is it in yet?
Oh, I'm sorry, listeners. We're being rather puerile here. I do apologise.
Yeah, we do apologise.
Fuck it. No, fuck that.
Is that what you say to him as well?
Right. I'm trying to bring this back to normality.
Sorry.
T2. Right. Yeah. Now, I love the first Terminator. I think with T2, we kind of saw the beginnings of CGI before, but I don't think we were. Certainly, when I was like a 22-year-old guy at the beginning in 1991, I'd never seen anything like the CGI in T. I just didn't think it was possible.
Well, yeah, I mean, the first time I saw Terminator 2 was on an extremely dodgy pirated VHS copy in 92 or 93, around that time.
Yeah.
And it was it was snowy on the screen, basically. It was that bad a copy, but you could still tell what an amazing thing this piece of work was. And, the T-1000, the Guns N' Roses soundtrack, Arnie, everything. And this is one of the few movies, I think all in my top 5 I can say this about, but this is one of the few where I can unquestionably say this is a 10. Terminator 2 is a 10. It can't be improved upon. In the styles, in fact, I think it was Kevin Smith who said it is the best action movie ever made. And regardless of the sort of the future aspect and everything else, it is an action movie, and it is the best way of using the word incredible.
I think in terms, right, okay, slightly disagree with you there, Smokes.
That's fine.
I think it's probably the third best action movie ever made. I think the best action movie ever made is Die Hard.
Okay.
The second best action movie, this is purely my opinion.
That's fine.
Doesn't count for anything, but it's First Blood.
What, Rambo? Really?
Yeah, the first Rambo.
Okay, fair enough. I just made the fact that it was called, the next one was called First Blood Part 2.
I know, I remember the irony in that, but, you couldn't really call it Second Blood. Yeah.
First Part 2? How does that work? Okay, never mind.
Well, we've got The Last Exorcism Part 2 now, and...
I know, what a piece of shit that was. Did you see that?
No.
No, but I did see Insidious 2, and Jesus, that was bad.
Jesus was in it? Oh, okay. No,
may as well have been.
Sorry, it's a fiction, isn't it?
Sea bags.
I liked the first Insidious. The second one was nah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It wasn't great. But then horror movies are on their ass at the moment anyway. So.
Yeah. Okay, you guys. You mentioned movies of the 70s. I'm just going to chuck some 70s movies at you, and I just, in case you've seen them, just wanted your opinion of them. Capricorn 1.
Haven't seen it.
I have seen a poster for it in one of the bars that I go into in the Fab Cafe in Leeds. I go in there, there's a poster for it on there, on the wall that I've seen for a long time. And our pod pal Stinking Paws recently reviewed it. And after they'd reviewed it and actually gone through the plot, because they do actually admit they do sort of spoil it in that way, it left me thinking, I actually think I have seen this. So,
you have seen it?
So I think I may have seen it, but I can't remember when or where. It did sound very familiar to me.
I take it that means you like it, Smoke.
It's one I've seen. I saw it for the first time about 3 or 4 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. And then I saw it about a year ago again. And it's basically about a faked landing on Mars or the moon. I can't remember quite exactly. Yeah. But O.J. Simpson's in it. Unfortunately, James Brolin's in it.
Good movie.
Quite a good film. Vanishing Point, have you guys seen the original?
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
The original I've never seen.
Well, I will say I saw Death Proof, and because they talk about it a lot in Death Proof, I went back and watched Vanishing Point after that. So hey, thank Tarantino for getting me to watch Vanishing Point. But
okay, Quadrophenia.
Oh yeah, so as a big Who fan.
Who? I'm sorry, I couldn't let it go.
Who's the band on stage?
It's the band.
Oh, it's the band.
Who? No, it's the band, not Who.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, at a very early age, I discovered The Who, and at the earliest opportunity when I was allowed to, I watched Quadrophenia, which was still before the legal limit, but my parents allowed me. And it's a film that I can go back to for a number of reasons. One, I think it's a very good film. Mm-hmm. One, it's great to see so many of the younger actors in it that then went on to other things. But it's part of my early teenage life, to be honest. It takes me back there, along with it just being a good film in itself, in my opinion. It does. I mean, I may have an affection for it that makes me think it's better than it actually is. But it's a film that was one of the first ones that I replaced from VHS on DVD and stuff. So it's stayed with me for all this time.
Fair enough. Well, 2 things for me on that movie. 1, the soundtrack. 2, Leslie Ash. That's about it.
Steph.
And I haven't seen it.
Did you ever?
I know.
He just said he hadn't seen it.
What the? It's fine. There are worse movies not to have seen. I'll let him off that one.
Leslie Ash, Phil Daniels, Alleyway. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll watch it.
Did you ever see an episode of Men Behaving Badly where they go to Brighton and Neil Morrissey's character gets out and he says, "Oh God, do you remember that scene in Quadrophenia?" But he says it to Leslie Ash, and she just sort of turns to him and goes, "Vaguely."
Reminds me of that scene from Maverick as well, where Danny Glover robs the bank.
The Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
And they have the music playing as well. It was awesome.
He gets on the horse, he says, "I'm too old for this shit."
Nice pull. I like it.
And I really liked the fact that, certainly in Maverick, that James Garner was in it, who originated it.
The original Maverick, yeah. It was. I actually really enjoyed Maverick. It was a good film. Before, Mel Gibson went insane.
Now, guys, just refresh your memory. Have you seen the RoboCop remake? Because Sid hasn't, and he's a big fan of the original.
I haven't, but I've not heard anything good about it.
I haven't either, but I subscribe to the fact that how can you make a RoboCop movie and make it a 12?
Yeah, okay. I would advise you to see it because I've seen it.
Right.
And it's not as bad as everyone thinks. It's not great, and it's certainly nowhere near as good as the original, but it is worth seeing.
Really?
I'm glad I saw it, because, I mean, in terms of the story is approached very, very differently than Verhoeven's version.
Right.
But you've got some great performances by Gary Oldman, Michael Keaton, certainly, and Samuel L. Jackson, who pops up in it every now and again. It's worth seeing for those heavyweights alone and their performances. Gary Oldman is very passionate in the role, and can see he's trying to make it work as best he can.
It's going to be a movie I will watch. Of course I will, because I need to form an opinion about it. But I appreciate where you're coming from, Smeg, but I don't hold out much hope for it, I'm afraid. But I will watch it, and I will let you know what I think.
Okay. Stephen?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard feedback from some people other movie podcasters particularly, that have commented about the way that the story has been changed. It doesn't actually have the element where there's his humanity being battled against in the same way as it did which actually was the central part of the story in the first one. And also I've been told that there's a lot of shoehorning in of bits from the original, at least the original two, and they do feel very much like the lines have been forced in there rather than being natural part of dialogue, and that must be quite upsetting.
Jarring.
Yeah.
I've seen in the adverts where you're dead or alive, you're coming with me, and it sounds forced.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have the Peter Weller voice, does he?
No, he doesn't. No.
It doesn't happen that much. I will stick my flag up and say it very much does its own thing with the story. It's essentially the same story, although Murphy is disposed of, so to speak, differently. It's not really, done very sanitary, but it's still pretty horrifying.
But
and they
you don't get anyone covered in toxic waste in this one, do you?
No, unfortunately not.
Damn shame.
Well, it's one we'll probably watch further down the line because we very rarely touch movies for the podcast that are all that recent.
Yeah.
But in probably maybe a year or two, it might come along that we decide to put it down, and perhaps it'll be a Half-Light.
Oh no, don't.
But we don't know. We'll have to see what it comes out as, whether it's something that we have great fun dismantling and criticising, or whether it's something that we think has been maligned
that surprises us.
And surprises us. We'll have to see. It's got this contention about it. I think further along the line, it would very much qualify for our terms for why we decide to pick a film to watch. So watch this space and
give it
for
time.
A few years.
Give it time. We'll be there.
I just think it's quite amusing how a group of atheists can sit around and discuss RoboCop being a great movie when it's full of so much religious imagery.
Well,
it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
Hang on. Sorry, Sid, can you just repeat what you said, Sid?
No.
Really? Because call me crazy, but I thought this is the man who said he really loved Man of Steel, even that was full of fucking Jesus.
Yeah, I know it was, but it was still a good film, so fuck off.
No, it wasn't. I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I mean, the amount of Jesus iconography in that movie must have put you off from the start.
Plus the fact in the church where he said he was 33.
Yes!
Yeah. But I'm letting it off just because I really like that film.
And you'll have heard of my love of Superman in a previous episode as well, Smokey.
Yeah.
But Superman or Man of Steel?
Actually,
but I have never equated until recently Superman with Jesus. To me, Superman has always been a separate character. I see the parallel now.
Yeah.
The Man of Steel, I think, made it more apparent than it ever was.
Oh, man.
But just referencing when you had the conversation before about Superman being an anomaly amongst superheroes in that he puts on a disguise to actually, he puts on a
Kill Bill thing,
to become it's actually within DC universe that's quite common. I mean, Wonder Woman does it, and a number of others. So it's not in any way unique in that respect. As far as the superheroes within the DC, Marvel, yes, it very much always is the other way around, but.
Oh shit, we've got him on the comic books.
At that point actually did pique my interest to go, well, actually, technically not true.
No.
But anyway, we'll carry on talking about films instead of comic books, because I'm not actually that much of a comic book geek. I just was a technical point I picked up on, and should shut up now.
Basically, Marvel are just men in tights.
Oh, right, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
right.
Good point.
Let's move on. Next question, guys. What would be your ideal job?
Stephen?
Mine would be doing kinetic typography or infographics or general graphic design for trade union and charities.
Wow.
So there you go. Just doing graphics for causes that I believe in, basically.
I think that's the deepest answer you've got to that question, Smith.
Probably, yeah.
Well, it's my equivalent of being a writer or whatever anybody else has said. I mean, my my interest and my talent is in graphic design, and it's typography and infographics are where I've got a massive interest in. So I'd like to be able to do that, but put it to use for a cause, such as the union that I'm involved with, or for charities, to actually try and make a bit of a difference with the design.
I love kinetic typography, actually. I've seen quite a few examples of it, certainly on YouTube.
Well, there was a point at which I was considering putting our episodes up on YouTube as kinetic typography, but they're so fucking long that it'd take me about 3 months just to do one episode. So
probably, yeah.
that went out the window quite quickly, that idea. But I'm going to get something done at some point with some of the stuff that we've been doing.
Smokey, your ideal job, mate?
Well, I hate to follow the example of various other people and yourself who've been on this, but it would be lovely to do this for a living, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be great.
I mean, it would. I mean, just boil it down to brass tacks, and we're getting to meet some really lovely people via Twitter, Facebook, but via on. I know, I'm sorry, and
I'm on Facebook. It's all right.
I know. Thank you, sir.
I know.
And shut up, you. And so, and being on Skype and all this, and just connecting and knowing you're not that far away, and we can always meet up for a beer at some point as well. I mean, doing this sort of indie podcast thing for a year or so now, it's been so much fun. And as you said, Smeg, as well, you do it for fun. We do it for fun. There is no money in indie podcasting at all. The only way you can get that is if you do, you get yourself affiliated with Amazon or things like that on your page. But this is all done out of enjoyment, and everything from the recording, the broadcasting, the editing, everything. It's all, and if I could get paid for this, fuck me, would I do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But so yeah, dream job, this, or maybe manager of Everton. But apart from that, no, this.
No, I can agree with that.
Everton, good.
It would be a good job to have, but I mean,
wouldn't it?
Like what you've just said, without this podcast now, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. Do you know what I mean? So
sorry about
that. Yeah, no. I mean, there are bad points to everything. But it's.
I mean, you guys, you've never heard of Sid before a few days ago, and he never heard of you.
Yesterday we heard of Sid. Yesterday.
Apart from Crime Watch, no.
Yeah, we sat here
that wasn't me, really.
That's what they all say.
So what you're trying to say is I look like one of them photo fits from Crime Watch?
No, it's one of those.
Fuck you.
It was great.
I'm sure we your twin brother, I'm sure.
Right, okay. Next question, dudes. In fact, 3 prongs. You know what's coming, Smokey. You know what's coming.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter? Star Wars or Star Trek? John McClane or Jack Bauer?
I'll take this one first then. In fact, I'm going to go in reverse order, if that's okay. Jack Bauer any day. Because I loved every single season of 24.
Yes. Yep.
There was not a bad one whatsoever. I mean, you could say some were stronger than others, but there was not a bad one.
Nope.
Even the movie was actually all right.
Yeah, it was actually. It was good.
I love 24 as well. Jack Bauer any day.
Hello.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
I thought that was someone putting on.
And who said you can't do accents?
I know, that was a great woman accent. Well done.
Should see me when I dress up.
That's where I've seen you before.
Oh, there we go. That ladyboy thing.
It was down Canal Street, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ain't Street.
Yeah. At weekends, his name is Mary.
In Napoleon's in Canal Street.
Oh, the bastard told me it was Marie. Oh, never mind.
No, you were just pissed.
As always.
Sorry, Jack Bauer.
Yes, I mean, there is really only one reason why you should pick Jack Bauer over John McClane, and that is, if you're a fan of 24, you will notice, is that every single time that Jack Bauer says, "I give you my word,"
yeah,
he always keeps his word. He never ever breaks it in any of those 8 seasons.
Until it gets someone killed.
No, and he still, well, yes, it does, but he doesn't break it, though. He doesn't break his word, even if it fucks up. He doesn't break his word.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't, actually.
No. And also it's Kiefer fucking Sutherland, who was gonna just languish in rehab for about the next 30 years until this came along. So, it saved him, it saved us, and Jack Bauer saves everyone, so fuck John McClane.
I don't know. I don't know how many dammits there are in 24, but there's quite a few. And it's not just Jack either, most of them say it.
No, but then he never says fuck.
Well, no, because it's network TV, isn't it?
It was a 15 certificate in our country, wasn't it? So if he had just, expelled a little bit of aggression by saying fuck every now and again.
He has said fuck once in the season 3 or 4 prequel. He tells Erin, the boss of CTU, he says, I can get my own fucking job. But I think that...
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's prequels, you'll find them on YouTube.
Oh, you mean the ones that aren't actually on the... Right, yes, I know.
Yeah, the prequels.
Did you ever play the game?
Yes.
It was terrible.
No. The aiming was terrible. The game in itself was actually pretty good.
The story, yeah, I'll agree with the story was good.
Yeah, but the gun sight and the driving, it's you wanted to turn right and it turned left kind of thing?
Yeah, it was broken.
Okay, so Jack Bauer.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Stephen. Oh, no, sorry, Smokey, you're 3, isn't it?
No. Well, yes, it was. What was it? Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
And Star Wars or Star Trek.
Right, okay. Well, I'll go with the one that I know very little about. I have never, ever seen a Harry Potter movie, and I've never read a Harry Potter book. I've never read Lord of the Rings, but I've seen the movies, so I'd have to go for Lord of the Rings just because I've seen them. But as very, very flawed as they are, sorry mate, I know you love them, but they were fine. I mean, Fellowship was okay, and Return of the King was okay. Two Towers was excellent. It does suffer from Empire Strikes Back syndrome, but it's a good.
Yeah, it does actually.
The middle movie being the best, the other two being kind of weak. Yeah, it does suffer from that. And actually, Smeg, you were totally right in what you said in the last episode. It has 17 endings, and I really didn't need any of that, especially when I've just watched 3 movies about walking.
It is about walking, actually.
It's about walking. The first movie is about walking a long way. The second movie is about walking a long way, taking a sidestep and then carrying on. And then the third movie was about walking and then waking up in a bed with lots of midgets jumping all over you.
Or is that just your fantasy?
I've got many fantasies, Sid, but that isn't one of them, sir.
It must be mine, then.
That is the soundbite that is definitely going on Twitter when I'm promoting this. Oh, fucking hell, that's brilliant.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, Stephen. Lord of the Rings or...
You've got to do your Star Wars Star Trek,
Sorry, Smokey. Get a grip, Neil. Get a grip.
I'm sorry, I think I just broke space.
Oh. Star Wars or Star Trek, Smokey?
It's Star Wars, mate. It'll have to always be Star Wars.
Despite the fucking horrible prequels?
Yeah, actually, despite that, I've never been a Star Trek fan. I don't know, it seems to be a kind of select thing for when I was at school, but when I was at secondary school, you were either a Trekkie or you were a dwarfer. And never the twain shall meet. So this seems to be quite just unique to my school, because that was it. You couldn't be both.
You did go to Fulford, though.
I did, well, yeah, that's true. But, so I was always a dwarfer, and so I've seen a few episodes of Star Trek of every kind of season and a generation, if you will. I saw the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek, and that was not very good. I haven't watched Into Darkness because I love Benedict Cumberbatch so much that I want him to win. So I don't want to watch it because I know he's going to lose. So, I don't really need to do that. And so, yeah, you say that about Star Wars episodes 1 to 3. Obviously, we all know that Phantom Menace is not a very good film. It's not a dreadful film. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen in the world, ever. That's reserved for various other things that you'll have to listen to hear about. But Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, you cut all the shit bits of them and stick them together. You've got a really good Jedi movie. But, unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I'm afraid it's Star Wars all the way.
Stephen, don't know what order you want to take them in.
That's been asked before. I would say for me it's Lord of the Rings, because I've only ever seen half of the first Harry Potter film, and it bored me so much that I got up and left my partner at the time watching it and went and decided to do the washing up, because that was more interesting for me.
Yeah,
it was too
third film onwards, they're really good.
It was far too derivative. It's beyond the claims of plagiarism directly from somebody called Larry Potter and all that kind of stuff over in the States. It's too much of a mishmash of previous films and books and comic books and stuff that's just been brought together. It just doesn't seem to have the originality that I would want, beyond the fact that I wasn't of the right age to receive them anyway, because I was too old to be into those films as a current thing for me when they came out. So Lord of the Rings, I've read the books, and okay, the films weren't as good as the book, but I enjoyed watching them, and I do feel they were more than just walking. But but me and Smokey have had this.
Yeah, there was some horse riding.
There was, yeah.
What did they do before and after? No, never mind.
And as far as John McClane and Jack Bauer, I've never seen 24.
Oh.
Well, and I'll explain why I've never seen it. It's because at the time it was actually on television, I wasn't in when it was on television, so I couldn't record it, so I just missed it when it was on. In subsequent time, somebody has been repeatedly promising me for the last 3 years that they would lend me the DVDs, yet he still hasn't. Have you, Smokey?
Did I promise you that?
Yeah, and then he decided to watch them again with Mrs. Smokey, so I still haven't watched them.
Oh, well, then tonight. I will lend you them tonight.
So that's why I've never seen them, because somebody's been continuously promising.
Smeg, you've got this on record. I'm lending him tonight.
Okay.
So
let me know when you've received them, Stephen.
Yeah, right.
Pardon?
But when he's giving me the full... Anyway. But I do get the impression that it is a lot more involved and has a lot more to it, and the performances and everything is a lot better than the Die Hard franchise, which admittedly the first two films were good, but I do feel that particularly since some of the later films were based upon books about completely different characters, it doesn't gel together well as an entire franchise, in my opinion, and it sort of lost me along the way. And then finally coming to Star Wars and Star Trek, I've loved watching Star Trek on television, all the different permutations and generations, particularly watching Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. But despite the Star Wars prequels being fuckload of shit, to be honest, my affection for when the original Star Wars films came out, and there being a big gap between then and when Next Generation started, and so basically there was only Star Wars to compare to the original series of Star Trek. It means that Star Wars retains an affection for me that is difficult to beat, even though I do have a great affection for the TV series of Star Trek. The film of Star Trek, the original films and the newer franchise versions of them haven't made me feel strong in either direction, to be honest. It was
not even Star Trek II Wrath of Khan.
It was fine. I mean, I didn't have any problem with it. I sat there and enjoyed it, but it wasn't, as a film, it wasn't a better film than any of the original 3 Star Wars films. So on the film side, I don't feel that they've reached a level to actually oust Star Wars from my affection, particularly with Empire Strikes Back and New Hope.
It's typically said, certainly with the Star Trek movies, that the even number ones are the best ones.
Absolutely, yeah.
Certainly 2, 4 and 6 are great movies. You go back and look at First Contact, it's very flawed, and Star Trek Nemesis is also, as is Insurrection and Generations, very flawed. I'm with you kind of, Stephen, because I remember the original Star Wars coming out and I saw all 3 at the cinema and they were just awesome experiences. And yes, Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, without a doubt.
Yeah.
We all agree on that, mate.
See, we're closer in age, me and you, than I am to Smokey. So I think that's why our experience ties in a bit more in that sense as well, in other respects.
The prequels get a bum rap all the time. But I just think if people step back a little bit, yes, Phantom Menace, not great, but the other two aren't that bad. People need to just sort of step away from this.
I have to say, I enjoy Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I mean, the melting scene of Anakin Skywalker was done really, really well.
Yeah. It's a menace if you take out Jar Jar Binks.
It's actually good.
It's actually a watchable film at very least.
Yeah,
yeah, but there is absolutely no excuse for Darth Vader at the end going, no fucking excuse.
Was pathetic.
You're right, there is no excuse for that. And also adding it in now, in post, in Return of the Jedi. Have you seen that yet?
I think we're about to lose Sid. He said he's got to go because he's got work early in the morning. So
fair enough.
And if you want, Shaz can sit in for Sid.
That's awesome.
That would be preferable.
That would be a first. Okay.
We found that from our friends' podcasts, the ABH and JT Movie podcast and stuff like that, we found that the spouses tend to be the better actual hosts anyway. So bring it on, Sharon. You're going to be the better.
Well, Sid's kind of my second spouse, if you like.
Oh.
I was just going to say, hang on, do you want to wait for Sid to leave before you start slagging him off? Just give him a bit of time. Is he still there?
He never usually does that.
Oh, there he is. Right.
No, what's the point in slagging somebody off behind the back? You don't get the reaction.
Well,
exactly.
we can't see him. Sid, when have you got to go, mate?
About now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's nice meeting you.
And you.
It's been awesome to talk to you, mate.
We'll see you soon, hopefully. We'll actually meet up.
Yeah, we'll have to meet up, guys.
If it's not to record, just meet up and have a chat and sit around.
Too right.
Yeah, I'm sure we can do it.
Yeah, and seriously, mate, when we said your episode, it was awesome. It was really good.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
No problem.
Okay, cheers, mate.
See you soon.
All right, see you.
Really getting up in the morning.
I'll see you tomorrow at some point, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cheers, mate. Have a good one.
And you.
Okay, Sid's unfortunately had to go home because we're taping this quite late and he's up in the morning. But sitting in for him is my other half, my soulmate, Shaz. Say hello, Sharon.
Hello.
Surprise.
Yay.
Sharon.
Is it Shaz or Sharon?
Sharon.
And don't you mean your better half there, Smeg?
She is my better half, yeah, in every respect. What is your favourite song, guys?
Well, now, this is an interesting one, Smeg. We were, when Stephen picked me up from the train station tonight, we were discussing the various questions that you were going to throw at us. And I mentioned to Stephen, I said, we need to come up with our favourite songs, because Smegs are going to ask us. And a billion to one shot, we've actually got the same favourite song.
Right, okay.
We've never actually had that conversation before in our friendship. And we just happened to mention it tonight, and we've both got the same favourite fucking song.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I know. How bizarre is that? So, it is Barbara O'Reilly by The Who.
Yeah. Good. And The Who are a band that I'm actually just starting to appreciate now.
Yeah.
A band I've never really been into, but yeah, good song. Very weird, that organ bit in the middle.
Synthesizer and stuff.
Synthesizer bit, yeah.
I've got a couple of different versions of it. There was one that was released upon the Lifehouse project with Pete Townsend solo stuff.
Yeah.
And it's an epic length version that's about 10 minutes long, which is 4 minutes longer than the album version.
Yeah.
And it's orchestral, and it's got strings and bows in it and everything, and it just makes it sound so epic. It's really amazing.
It's gorgeous.
But yeah, that song, it's a bit like Bohemian Rhapsody in that it's got like sections to it, levels in it, and it's the lyrics as well I like, but all the way it's got so many elements to it, which I think is why I can have it as being a favourite song, rather than it just being that it's one subject sort of thing that just happens to be picked.
Do you remember the band Mr. Big?
Yeah. I'm the one who wants to be with you, that Mr. Big.
Exactly. I saw them in Leeds in '93.
Yeah.
And they did Barbara O'Reilly. They covered Barbara O'Reilly. And their guitarist, Paul Gilbert, I think is his name. And he that organ part, he played on the guitar. And I have never seen someone's fingers move so fast.
Now you see, I've seen Van Halen in concert, so there you go.
Fair enough. Well, yeah. That's bizarre you bring that up. I was reading about Eddie Van Halen today, doing the solo for Beat It.
Yeah.
He turned up, he got stoned and drunk, played that solo and fucked off.
Yeah. That's basically what happened. That is exactly what happened. And it's one of the best guitar solos. Well, I wouldn't say in any song, but certainly in any non-rock song.
Yeah, pop song, definitely.
It's an incredible solo.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
But with The Who, there's a song that I never actually heard until I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4, and that's Eminence Front. And
well, more recent. That was after Keith Moon died. It was the thing that on the
80s song?
82.
First album they released, Faces Dances, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tune, man. I agree. Can we sorry, Smoke, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course you can.
Shaz, what's your favourite song?
That's a tough one.
Very tough one.
Oh God, I don't know. I've got so many. There's
It's got to be a Queen one.
No, not necessarily. Actually, no. It's more Iron Maiden.
Oh, what? Yes, bring it on.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love you.
Oh, Smokey's just messing.
And she also, we both also love Machine Head's cover as well.
Did you see my picture with my Machine Head top on?
Was that on Twitter?
No, it's the one on Skype.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yes, I love Machine Head too.
Yeah, but I like their cover. I mean, they didn't exactly do much different with it. It was basically Machine Head doing an iconic Iron Maiden song, but it was different enough. They did it in a different key, certainly.
Until the last verse.
Yeah.
When he just starts roaring. And this is going to be controversial, but I think they did, the version of Battery is better than Metallica's.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple of times. Controversial.
It is controversial, but it's so bloody good. Anyway, Sharon, we didn't hear your answer. Just Hallowed Be Thy Name, or would it be any Maiden tune?
No, there's also Number of the Beast.
Oh.
Love that song.
Smeg, I'm taking it further away from you, son.
I do have a Metallica tattoo.
Oh, really? Where?
It does, yeah.
Across the bottom of my back.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I know. I'd better move on swiftly and ask you guys what your ringtone is.
Mine is an instrumental version of the Soviet national anthem.
It's true, it is.
Wow.
Well, he is.
I only know that because of Rocky IV.
Yeah.
I got it from Hunt for Red October. See, this is how movies unite us all.
You are a fully fledged communist.
I would describe myself as being a socialist. I think the tag of communism, as it became from the progression of the Soviet Union and such, I think if you hark back to what its original values were as socialism, I would say that's where my allegiance lies and my political views most tie in with, rather than what it became as a totalitarian regime sort of thing.
Okay. Right, so kind of when that goes off, do you get looks?
No. Because hardly anybody ever rings me. And no, it's true. I hardly ever ring anybody else either. I get 3 minutes every month, and I use about 6 minutes of them, and that's only if my daughter borrows my phone to go and ring one of her friends. But no, generally speaking, if people hear it, I would say the majority of people have got no idea what it is, unless they've seen Rocky.
Unless they've seen Rocky IV, yeah, I was just going to say that.
Nobody below a certain age has got any conception whatsoever about what the Soviet Union was, never mind what the iconography of it was, or the sounds attached to it, or anything. So, no, generally speaking, it's just me that knows.
Oh, bless you.
Unless I'm at a union meeting or something like that, and then people...
You get applause.
Yeah.
No, people start standing up and saluting.
Okay, Smokey, what's your ringtone, mate?
A bit cliched, I'm afraid. It's Thunderstruck by AC/DC. We mentioned Thunder before.
Yeah.
One of my favourite bands, and I do actually think the best live band I've ever seen, ever, who don't get nearly enough credit.
Saxon.
No, Thunder, you fuck.
Harry's a star. Harry.
Harry's the drummer. I've met him. He's a lovely fella.
Yeah.
So, but their intro music is Thunderstruck because the crowd chant Thunder.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing tune, and just it makes you want to get up and dance, even if you have two left feet like I do.
I love Thunderstruck. Hell's Bells Changed My Life by AC/DC. I heard that and I instantly fell in love with rock music.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, Thunderstruck's great song. I think it's Watch Mojo did a top 10 AC/DC songs. They're a channel on YouTube that do top 10s of lots of things, and Thunderstruck was number one. I can see why, because it's a great song. My ringtone is the Red Dwarf Elvis theme.
Oh, really? Because you and Sid were saying that you had Lord of the Rings.
No, Sid has got... Oh, I can't remember what he's got now. That's how fucking memorable it was. But I haven't got Lord of the Rings. I've got Red Dwarf.
Oh, okay.
I remember you saying that before, that yours was Red Dwarf, the Elvis.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It is good. And the guy recorded it with a massively high temperature, apparently.
Yeah, he did. And I think he'd only listened to the original theme run-through once and just nailed it on the first take, apparently. But,
he thought it was a joke, didn't he?
Yeah.
He thought the lyrics he thought they were winding him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And he didn't realise it was actually the theme. And it kind of reminds me of the Shark Attack 3 story that with Crystal the other week.
Oh, yeah.
The Shark Attack 3 quote, because that was purely unintentional as well, but they put it in the fucking movie. We're both fans of Shark Attack 3. Sharon because she actually thinks it's good, and me because I think it's so fucking awful. It's brilliant, you know.
Well, then I have to ask then the ultimate question: have you seen Sharktopus?
Oh yes.
You have.
Seen it. Yes.
Loved it.
Damn you, Sharktopus!
I've seen Sharknado as well.
Wasn't that fucking horrendous?
That was brilliant.
Oh, fuck off! It was dreadful.
Sharon likes shit disaster movies and monster movies.
Oh, well then you need to check out Big Ass Spider.
Big Ass Spider.
I watched Big Ass Spider a couple of weeks ago with a colleague of mine at work, and it's so much crap, but it's actually very good. It's actually very well made, believe it or not. I know, crazy, but it is.
Yeah, but some of the CGI is just shit in it, you know. I mean, something the fucking 6-year-old could have done on his computer at home.
Yeah.
What's your favourite swear word and why?
I think I've got a favourite swear word, and I've got one that I use most often, which are two separate things. My favourite one, I think, is cunt.
Yeah.
Because it does have such a special, especially coming from people in the British Isles, I think, but it has such a resonance to it and can be used in so many different situations. It's just multi-purpose and has such an impact to it. So that's my most commonly used one. The one that that's the one that's my favourite. My most commonly used one though is putanina, which is Filipino for motherfucker, which I generally use if I'm around children or in a work situation where I could get in trouble if I'm swearing. So they won't have any idea that I'm saying motherfucker in a foreign language.
Can I suggest another one then, if we're going to go elaborate like that?
Yeah.
Can I suggest Hahum Barbo or Smart Alec Metal Git?
Are you just describing Smokey?
Smokey, your favourite swear word, my friend?
Well, I've got to say that I'm going to go with you, Smeg, and say that bollocks is an awesome swear word.
Mm.
However, I'm going to disagree with you that we need to encourage the Americans to use it. We don't. It's ours. Let's keep it as ours. It's got a big, white flag with a red cross in it. That's England's swear word.
Britain.
Yeah, I see a lot. They can't really say it properly, can they?
No, it doesn't sound right in an American accent. I was in New York a few years ago, and I was in a diner, and I said bollocks in the diner, and someone actually turned around and said, "Excuse me," I can't do the American accent, but they said, "Excuse me, did you say bollocks?"
That's never stopped you doing things before.
I know, but I'm on a bigger podcast now, and I said, "Yeah, I did," and they went, "What does it mean?" And so I literally had a 5-minute conversation with this New Yorkian and explained what bollocks meant. So bollocks is my favorite swear word. However, I want to incite some kind of reaction like cunt would do. I don't use cunt, but
you do.
I do, but not in that situation. No, I have a combination, which is bastard motherfucker. Which, if you say it with enough venom, will make anyone stop and go, huh? And yeah, if you go, you bastard motherfucker, and they do stop. And using it against bus drivers, I find is very handy because they're normally. So that's one for you, kiddies. Use bastard motherfucker.
I could just see it now, Smokey. Could I have a single into town, please, you bastard motherfucker?
It's normally when they miss my stop, even when I've pressed the bell and they haven't heard it.
Right, okay.
Bastard motherfucker! You get the higher register as well. It all works out fine. It's like, spreading butter on bread. It's
you
awesome.
tend to say the word fuck a lot, though. Particularly to me, you call me a fuck.
Well, we've had, I don't know if you heard that episode, Spectre, we had a little bit of criticism on our podcast, for swearing too much.
Oh.
I don't know if you heard that.
Why?
Apparently it conveyed the fact that that we had a particularly poor vocabulary. And that we were using swearing to emphasise points that we couldn't articulate any other way.
Somebody accused Stephen Fry of that as well.
Well, that's true, and he told him to fuck off. So, but I mean, if you just listen to the sentence I just said, it really doesn't prove that I have a poor vocabulary at all.
No.
I may slur my words occasionally, but that's the Galahad, so it's fine. So,
it's the beer of podcasters.
It's the beer of podcasters. So, it's just sort of like, I think if swearing can enable you to get your point across, why the fuck not? Just use it.
I just don't get why people are offended by swearing, or any swear words. I think they're an integral part to, let's face it, I know parents right now that, well, obviously not right now because it's like 11:25 at night, most of the kids will be in bed, but tomorrow, will F and blind in front of their children.
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5-year-old children. And just think nothing of it. I mean...
But then those same parents would also smack their kids for swearing.
Precisely.
It's fucking ludicrous, mate.
Yeah. And they don't remember when they were kids and they used to swear and they got smacked by their parents. They forget that.
It was a rite of passage. It was when you finally learned what fuck meant, or that you could actually say the word fuck. It was great. It was like it was a release on your vocab to actually get that fucking thing out.
Well, Stephen Fry said him and his brother thought that they'd invented the word fuck.
Because they hadn't,
because they hadn't heard any grown-up say it.
Yeah, and there is a beauty to swearing, and let me start again. There is a beauty to swearing that is an addition to the English language, in that we have a language that is constantly growing and evolving, but that you can add these little segments in of just going, oh, fuck, or shit, or throwing anything like that in, that just makes this thing even more beautiful. And why the hell not use it, It's a brilliant thing that we are given, just that we have evolved to use, and it is fucking awesome, and why the fuck not?
Right. It's not strictly a swear word, but I'll tell you a little story. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, I don't remember doing this, I've been told this. Okay. I was in the car with my dad, and, it was just me and him, so obviously he told this story loads of times before he died in 89, but I was in the car, and I was about 6 or 7, and we were going somewhere, and he had, like, a styrofoam cup of coffee that he was drinking.
Yeah.
While he was driving, and I turned round to him and said, "What's a stiffy, Dad?" And he spilled the coffee all over himself, and he nearly crashed the car. That's another word that Americans don't use, stiffy.
Stiffy, yeah, I like that.
That reminds me, do you remember the PG tips chimps that they had.
Monkeys, yeah.
Well, they had some like sort of cartoony versions that they had pictures of and stuff at one point when I was younger. And I remember sitting on the floor at my grandparents, and I was drawing some of these that were from in front of me on a card, and I was drawing them on a blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
And one of them was a Formula One racing driver, and I remember writing next to it that the Grand Prix, but instead of spelling Prix right, I spelled it Pricks.
Oh, okay.
And my mum went absolute mad with me, and it was a completely innocent mistake at the time, because I was only about 7 years old and didn't have a clue what the difference was. But yeah, Grand Prix and Pricks. And that's another word that they don't tend to use elsewhere. Yeah, Pricks.
Pricks, yeah.
I did want to mention this one, which was a Billy Connolly one. That he had in, I think it was in Edinburgh or Glasgow, and it was Jesus suffering fuck. His reaction to that is, there's a lot going on in there, isn't there? Jesus suffering fuck. He said, best when you hit your toe on when you trip over on the pavement.
Yeah.
Jesus suffering fuck.
I think he also, didn't he say something about people from Edinburgh having their own swear words like "getty for you, bassa"?
Yeah. You take out the vowels and you just use the consonants.
Use the consonants. Getty for you, bassa.
Yeah.
I've not seen much of Billy's recent stuff. I saw his stuff like that he did in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, but
yeah, I
kind of missed out on that.
It was the time when he started taking the piss out of people who were getting killed overseas. That's when he started losing his edge.
Yeah. That's kind of when I stopped listening to him, because I didn't think that was on what he did.
It's not comedy gold, basically. No.
Because the guy did end up, a couple of days after Billy Connolly made these comments, he did end up getting executed, didn't he?
He got decapitated, yeah.
Huh. Right, next question, guys. What's the one thing you've always wanted to do but think you never will?
Oh.
Wow. I forgot about that question.
So had I.
Oh, it's one thing we want to do but never think we will, or the other way around?
Well, the wording of my question is that I've got written down, what's the one thing you've always wanted to do but fear you never will?
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So something I want to do but fear I never will. Well, I know this may actually seem, sort of compared to everyone else's really sort of deep and thoughtful answers. I always, even though I'm the least dexterous man in the entire world, ask Mrs. Smokey, she'll tell you. But I'd really like to learn to play the piano. But I really don't think I can do it. Because I have 2 left feet and 2 left hands, and my hand are on my feet, and my feet are on my hands. So, yeah, I'd love to play the piano, because it sounds lovely.
Mm.
It really, it is. It's just the lovely sounds that emanates from that instrument, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. Sitting on a sofa and drinking and talking, that I can do.
Right.
Sometimes. But make me want to move my limbs? No, that's a bad thing.
As someone who had piano lessons as a kid, they are good fun, and you would enjoy them.
I can play the guitar, but I just don't think I can translate that hand movement onto a horizontal level.
Well, at least have one lesson and see what you think.
Well, how about you teach me?
I can't, I'm not a piano player. I had about 4 lessons with one of my mum's friends.
Didn't you get flustered there, Smeg? Oh, God, did you hear you start?
No.
Awesome.
No.
Sorry.
I'd be a bloody useless piano teacher. I'd be like, right, is that C or is that D?
No, but then the thing is that I'd go, I don't know, and you pass me a spliff, and then I don't care anymore.
That would certainly happen. Christ almighty, no. Just trying to imagine me trying to teach you piano. No, perish the thought. But having said that, mate, I always wanted my own radio show when I was a kid and in like my teens and my early 20s. I always wanted my own radio show, and I never thought I'd do it. And I've got a podcast now, so...
You're going now, sir.
Give it a try. You never know. Life's too fucking short for this shit, Really is. Steve... You, mate, what's one thing you've always wanted to do but fear you never will?
Yeah, well, there's 2. One is related to what Smokey was just saying there, I'd actually like to learn to play a musical instrument. I did start trying to learn how to play bass guitar because I was told that was easy compared to some others. And I didn't get very far with it, unfortunately. So I might, see if I can pick that up again and give it another go. But
I'll teach you how to play the bass.
It's never seemed to be something I could get used to. And the other thing is, again, learning something. I'd like to be able to speak another language fluently.
That's a good
because
one.
I feel I'm about halfway there with English, speaking it fluently.
Any particular language?
Well, I think given the state of the world as it is at the moment, I'd like to learn one of two languages, either Spanish or learn Mandarin. Did a bit of Spanish at school, which is why when I did start trying to learn Filipino, Tagalog, there were some words in that I actually just recognised without even trying because there were Spanish words.
Yeah.
But it's all in the back of my brain, and generally I only consciously remember the swear words.
Now, I learned German a bit at school. I would actually like to learn Klingon.
Oh, right.
Well, apparently it is the fastest growing language in the world.
I wouldn't mind learning Klingon. It would have fuck all use.
What?
Like Latin, then.
Well, there you go. Yes.
I was going to say, what about Esperanto?
Yeah, and then I can possibly understand that Shatner movie that he made in Esperanto.
Are we just trying to name useless languages now?
No, I was going for a Red Dwarf connection.
Oh, right.
Gelf.
Yeah. Rimmer tried to learn Esperanto, yeah.
So.
Gelf.
Yeah, that's Gelf.
For someone who sounds like a footballer clearly in their own throat. So that's another hopeless impression. Alright, what's the funniest joke you've ever heard? Or what's your favourite joke?
Well, I'll go first on this one.
Yeah,
while
please.
Smokey tries to think of one.
Yeah.
Big, fat, sweaty American walks into a pub with a pig under his arm, really loud Hawaiian shirt on, Bermuda shorts, sandals and socks, baseball cap, big camera around his neck. And the barman looks up and goes, "Where the fuck did you get that?" "Won it in a raffle," said the pig.
I kind of saw that one coming.
That's why gypsies have got crystal balls, you see. You can see it coming.
What, pigs have got crystal balls?
No, gypsies. Gypsies have got crystal balls. That's why they can see it coming.
That's a terrible... That's an even...
You see, I can get worse jokes than the one I've just told. I can keep getting worse and worse. There is no depth I won't go to with jokes.
Yeah.
Come on, you come up with something better than...
The Eddie Izzard's emergency joke. For people who don't have any jokes. So, yeah, Eddie Izzard's emergency joke is that three blokes walk into a pub. And they totally redecorated it. It was brilliant.
An Englishman, Irishman and a Scotsman go into a pub. What a great example of diversity.
Yeah, that was Fast Show, wasn't it? The PC comedian.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. Then you got the Gran Torino joke, which is the UK equivalent would be an Englishman, Irishman, and Scotsman walk into a pub, and the barman says, "Get the fuck out of here."
I do like that one.
Englishman, Irishman and Scotsman walk into a bar, and the barman says, "What's this, some kind of joke?"
A piece of string walks into a bar, not a bra, a bar. And the barman says, "Are you a piece of string?" He says, "No, I'm afraid not."
Oh.
Next question is, what's the most fucked up thing you've ever seen?
Well,
I've been thinking about this, because obviously knowing the questions you're going to give. Do you have something already?
No,
okay, go on then.
I was working in the graphics department of printers, and I was travelling down the road one evening, coming home from work, and got stuck in traffic. And it was, I carried on down the road, and I went past. This was let's say night time. It was dark. There was a phone box, and there was a girl in a wheelchair with a really bad wig on, leaning into the phone box, giving a man who was on the phone a blowjob.
Wow.
And left me
What?
completely. It's like she was wearing a wig as a disguise as well. But hang on, you're in a wheelchair. People might actually be able to make a connection that, oh, that's that girl who's in a wheelchair.
Now, was it a girl or was it a man dressed as a girl?
It looked the slightness of the frame would be that it was more likely to be a girl, but you know, there's always the possibility that it wasn't. That would mean it was even more unusual. So, but yeah, that was quite, and it was just in a residential area of York as well, which was a strange thing. So.
Are you sure there weren't people with binoculars on, like, the hills, like it would be like a long-distance dogging session or something?
Well, this was back in the day before dogging had really become a known phenomenon. Phenomenon. So yeah, it was only about 20 metres down the road from there when I was going to work a few weeks later, and there was some girl doing the washing up topless in one of the flats. So that's an interesting road that was.
Tidy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what about you? Stories.
Well, I've got two. One is from a movie and one is from real life. So
right.
Okay.
I'll do the movie one very quickly. Have you ever seen Alien Resurrection?
Yeah, once.
Okay. Well, do you remember there's a scene where Sigourney Weaver does a shot at basketball over her head backwards?
Yeah.
That was real.
No, that is fucked up. I didn't know that.
If you watch the making of Alien Resurrection, they're just basically a kind of cut point between the things. Between shots, she stands back facing the net. She hoists the ball over her shoulder, and it drops in. And the reaction of Ron Perlman in Alien Resurrection is real, because she did that.
Mm.
And that is a what the fuck moment.
Yeah.
In movie, it's perfect, it's great, and Sigourney Weaver's awesome, so that's good. The other one is, I saw a man, just round the corner from where I live. I saw him pick up a brick from a loose brick from a wall that was near where I live, and put it down the front of his trousers. And now I thought a kind of Spinal Tap moment, that he wanted to wrap it in foil and kind of give him... But then I thought, no, it's an oblong, that's really not natural looking, and yeah, so that was really very odd. That was a definite what the fuck moment.
Maybe he knew he was going to go home, and his missus was going to be upset with him and kick him in the balls.
Very possibly, but yeah, I mean, literally, like, you know, in American cop shows where they shove a gun down there. No, this guy got a brick and shoved it down there.
Would that constitute being a concealed weapon?
No, but he could say legitimately that he dropped a brick.
Yeah.
This part of me wonders whether he was actually going commando that day.
Ah!
If he got caught in one of the holes.
God, it'd be like a fucking cheese grater. Oh, dear God.
Make sure you listen after the music on our latest episode.
Oh, right. That's going.
On our last one that's been released, make sure you listen to it.
Oh, that one.
After the
Oh,
music.
yeah.
That one, right, okay. As I say, I'm part way through that. I'll finish that up tomorrow.
Oh.
We always put something after the music, so...
that was awesome.
So anyway.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah.
Calm yourselves.
Mm.
Right, you know what's coming. Give us your best impression.
Well, do we want to do a little disclaimer first?
Well, you can't do accents.
That you can't do an impression?
I can only do one visual impression, and I can't do any vocal ones, no.
Stephen can do a John Wayne impression, but it's all visual.
Ah, right.
So for a podcast, it's shit, but...
Well, put it on Vine.
I've tried
We're not Hollywood Babylon, so we can't just do visual gags.
No, we can't, but I've tried to persuade him to just try an audio impression, but he won't do it.
I can't think of anybody to do. I could do an attempt at somebody, but...
There you go.
Come on, do it. Just try somebody. Like David Bellamy. I can't particularly do David Bellamy, but I go, we'll whipple we white dash.
Smokes putting you for shame, God.
Yes, of course he is. He does them every week. He does different impressions.
Impressions every week.
But you do yours. Which one are you doing? Because you do two good ones.
I've only got two impressions, and they're both terrible.
Go on.
So I'll give you. It's very interesting. You brought up Lord of the Rings, so I'll have to do my Gollum, I suppose.
You are listening to the godless Smokecast. It is my precious.
That is actually really bloody good.
It's one of the few things he can actually do.
That is actually really good, Smokey.
Thank you, sir.
In fact, you have one.
They stole it from us.
Oh,
Nasty, tricksy little hobbitses.
Oh, Smeagol! Oh, that's just wrong. Stop putting your finger up there. Oh!
You don't have any friends.
No.
Nobody likes you.
see, yours isn't bad too, there, sir. In fact, I think you've got me beat, to be honest.
Nah.
Whoa, stop. Who did Sharon say won? Me or you?
I said it's 50-50.
She's being
Really?
diplomatic.
That was diplomatic of you.
Ah, well, that's not fair. I mean, no, hang on.
Democrat
No, stop. He gets to sleep with you tonight, so he gets to be in 60-40 or something like that. If I was over there, then I could at least get it 70-30.
Do Guinness.
Breakfast.
Right, you do Alec Guinness as well, do you?
Oh, well, again, it's very poor.
Oh, we'll be the judge of that. Go for it.
Luke. Go with the force, Luke.
There's a really weird way I have to reset my voice, so it's like... Yeah.
So you want to be a Jedi?
Hey, told you it was shit.
No, that's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant.
I think
Oh my goodness me.
See, that's what drugs do.
Ah, look. I can't do it. I can't even do Yoda.
Neither can I. It's all good.
I can do Crichton though.
Well, can you, sir? Okay.
Oh,
Fair
yes. Your logic is impeccable, sir. Right.
This could go for hours. More so.
Next question, sirs.
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Ah, now. We were talking about this before as well, weren't we?
Yes.
Well, the guilty pleasures are kind of funny things, aren't they? Because if you like them, then you shouldn't really be guilty about them, but it's more what you think people would think of you for liking, kind of thing. So, I mean, Stephen said that he didn't really have any guilty pleasures as such.
Because I didn't feel guilty about them.
But if you could put something into that category, what would it be?
One is musically, I like Betty Boo.
There's nothing wrong with Betty Boo. She's still doing the do.
She's still doing the do,
she's
man.
still fantastic. Look,
Oof.
anyway,
Yeah, man. Totally.
and my other kind of guilty pleasure in the fact that it just tends to stop me from doing anything productive is
Masturbation. Good.
No, I don't feel guilty about that. I feel that
Only in the morning.
that is productive. Is watching ITV4 and watching all like the Sweeney and the Champions and Randall Hopkirk Deceased and all that shit. I just get drawn into that way too easily of just sitting and just watching
70s crime dramas.
60s and 70s
Wow.
crime dramas, just
Serials, I suppose they would be called.
Just lose a lot of time just sitting there just monging out watching this shit.
Used to love Randall and Hopkirk, and as much as I love Vic and Bob, the original was still much better.
Well, I really liked the remake. I felt that it was, if they were going to do a remake, that was a successful way to do it. But I do prefer the original. And one of the things that's drawn me into watching all these things is because I'm a classic Mini owner. And I like to just watch them in the background, all the streets and stuff where there's all these minis. But you don't see them nowadays.
I've got to say, whenever I watch The Italian Job and I see those minis go over the cliff and destroyed, I do shed a tear inside.
I can't watch that bit.
No, it's absolutely awful.
It's akin to March of the Penguins when the baby penguin dies. It's terrible.
Yeah, I know. But it is accompanied, well, not by that bit, but you do get the Self-Preservation Society come back on in a bit to cheer you up, so that's okay.
Yeah.
That's a good film.
Oh, yeah.
I've got an idea.
I've got an idea. Yeah.
Do you know what? The Italian Job, one of the funniest bits when the old Professor Stuffy type guy is putting the transponders in the bins.
Yeah.
He's like, bloody foreigners! Blimey, bloody Grand Prix!
It's so good. It's such a good film.
And Benny Hill doing his...
Doing his best creepy impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, last question, dudes. What would you both like to have on your gravestone?
Ooh.
It was Smokey's fault.
I like that, actually. Yeah. Well thought.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I would just like to give one of my guilty pleasures, if I may.
Oh, yes.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry.
Sorry, just very, very briefly. And I know it won't mean anything to you northern heathens, but for us southerners, there is nothing better of a guilty pleasure than Chaz and Dave.
Oh, no. No, I'm with you.
Gotcha.
Rabbit.
Yeah, Rabbit and Cyborg Song and going down to Margate and just fucking...
There's no pleasing you and...
No pleasing you
I
on
like
the old
that.
Joanna.
I like that.
Yeah. And
No
it's
pleasing you.
and even though I am not a Cockney, even when I start talking about Chaz and Dave, a Cockney accent comes out of me. So I don't know where the fuck that comes from, me old China. But
Keep on that track. Your favourite film will be Lock, Stock.
I don't. Oh fuck that. But I just love Chaz and Dave, and I'm going to see them in July. Sorry, and I can't wait to see them. So
didn't Dave leave though? Didn't Dave retire or something?
He did leave for a little bit, but he is now back, and they are fully on tour, and they are playing at Sonosphere, where the Iron Maiden and Metallica and the Prodigy are headlining. Chaz and Dave are playing as well. Believe it or not, yes, it's true. But so I get to see Chaz and Dave this year, so I'm very, very happy. So that's my guilty pleasure. But going on to the Tombstone thing, I'm afraid I'm going to have to steal from the movie and go for one I mentioned earlier on. I'm going to have to go for Spinal Tap and go for Eli Smokey, and why not? I had to go for it. I had to go for a Spinal Tap quote. So
yeah. Probably my favourite Spinal Tap quote, apart from "Lick My Love Pump," which is just immortal. But
perfect.
It's rather a strange story, but story goes that he choked on vomit, and it was actually somebody else's vomit.
Yeah, you can't really dust for vomit.
Can't really dust for vomit, yeah.
I like the one where he says, "Well, he died in a horrendous gardening
accident." Yeah.
But they've told us not to ask anything else about that, yeah.
I've often speculated on what the gardening accident is.
It's got to be a strimmer. I mean, that thing can just tear you apart.
Yeah, if you're sunbathing and you're in long grass and the guy who's mowing the lawn can't see you, he'll just go over you.
Well, I mean, yes, you could look at it that way, but I was talking about if you hadn't done any manscaping, then it can, the hair can drift a bit and it can get caught up in the gears.
Yeah. I never thought of it that way, actually.
I have a fertile imagination when it comes to that.
Now, what movie was that in where some guy got his hair caught in some mechanism of some sort? Which one was it? It's one I saw recently. It's driving me mad now.
Well, I mean, I just watched...
Saw.
Oh, the Saw one? Okay, fair enough. I was going to say one of the Machete movies, because it happens in there as well.
That's what I've seen it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen the first Machete.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, I love Machete 1.
So much.
It's very much like Shoot 'em Up. It's kind of leave your brain at the door and just enjoy the insanity.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Big fan of Shoot 'em Up as well. I love all the phallic references with the carrot. It's just great. Would you kind gentlemen like to give a shout out to anybody on Twitter or any podcasts or any websites? Apart from your own, obviously, but you can give a shout out to that as well.
Well, yeah, we can be found in the usual places on Facebook, History Misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Our own site, which is hompodcast.com.
We're on Twitter as well,
yeah.
obviously.
At HOM Podcast on Twitter.
Can email us historymisunderstanding@gmail.com.
Yeah, we've got a group of friends who also podcast, which we're very close to, and we all dip into each other's shows and contribute and crossover and etc. If you just look under the hashtag on Twitter, PodPals, that'll find those. Also, we've got all the Secular FM shows and friends via that that we have.
We're on with No Godcast and Tanner Campbell and Adam Reeks and Herd Mentality and Godless Smegcast. People, listen to Godless Smegcast. It's awesome.
And the only other,
Thank you.
only otherwise would be Steph.
Oh, yes.
Stephanie Vielander.
Yes, our good friend Stephanie, who does, if you go onto YouTube and look at the Stephanie show, she featured us just recently, and we did our very first video movie review, which was very interesting and a lot of fun. And so check that out. Also, we have 2 other shows on iTunes available as well, which is Mrs. Smokey's Movie School and Smokey's 5-minute reviews, which is what I do. I literally review a movie in 5 minutes. It's very good fun. But, no, I mean, I don't know about you, Steve, but I just want to say, just support independent podcasters. There's so many out there, and there are so many good shows. I mean, I'm sure, Smeg, you've got a shit ton of mates that do podcasts as well, and we listen to yours, you listen to ours. And we all need to help each other, because there's no money in it. It's just all for the fun. And we just want to thank everyone for listening to your show, Godless Smegcast, and listening to History of Misunderstanding, because why the fuck not? What else have you got to do with your day?
Yeah.
But I mean, thank you so much for having us on.
Oh, thank you for being on. You've been brilliant guests. I don't think I've laughed so much in bloody ages. This is going to be one to remember, so yeah, thanks very much, dudes. It's been a pleasure. And on behalf of Sid as well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, from us.
Smeg, you are coming on our show, man. You really are.
Oh, I'd love to. Have a very good night, guys, and thanks for staying with me so long.
But it was lovely to meet you, Sharon.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant to meet you both. Thank you very much for being on.
It's been an absolute pleasure and delight, mate. And hey, just looking forward to future episodes together.
Brilliant. Okay. And leave the final word to my lovely Sharon.
Lovely to meet you, and thank you again.
And you.
You're a good girl, Sharon. Take care of that bastard, won't you?
Okay, take care, guys. Thanks very much.
Well, mate. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
Good night.
bye. Good night.
Hello, Smokey. Hello, Steve.
Hello.
He can play a Russian hitman.
There you
Anyway.
go.
What, you're from South Africa?
Yes, I am.
But you're Blick.
I
Mr. Access here.
was just about to say that.
You know,
West Essex.
my favourite bit... No, hang on. Sorry, go back to movies.
Diplomatic immunity.
My favourite bit about that scene is when he goes, but you're Blick. And Joe Pesci turns to him and goes, he is. You are. It's just a perfect line. What
Certainly
about
shocked.
Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus?
Oh, yeah. Fuck's sake. Was that the one where the shark batted a plane out of the sky with its tail?
Might have been.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, that was. That was completely fucked up. We were watching, Sharon and I, a couple of weeks ago, we were watching a What the Fuck compilation on YouTube. Yeah, you can get, like, What the Fuck compilations, like, random shit happening.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's a horse and a dog running side by side down a city street. And people just looking after it going, what the fuck was it? It's like something out of like one of those Never-Ending Journeys home movies or whatever they are. It's like something out of that. There's a horse and a dog running side by side down a city street.
Incredible journey.
Yeah, incredible journey.
Homeward bound.
Homeward Bound.
Yeah. What did I say? Never-ending journey.
Yeah.
Never-ending journey.
Story.
I had Incredible Journey in my head, but that fucking dragon from
Never-ending story.
Great Dragon. What, the Never-ending Story dragon was pink? I thought it was grey.
It was pink.
I'm remembering, Grover from Sesame Street. I'm remembering him, but grey.
Next week.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early.
Will not pass!
And what about very old friends?
Anyway, do you have a one?
Do my other one. What, my
Other
terrible Alec Guinness?
Oh, no, you're 30 because you got 3.
What's my third one? Oh, no, I'm not doing that one. No,
Oh, Mrs.
no.
Smokey loves it when you do that one.
Oh, bollocks. I let it slip a couple of episodes ago that I can do a Minion impression from Despicable Me.
Right, I've never seen Despicable Me, so I've got no idea who you're talking about.
You've never seen Despicable Me? Oh, it's an awesome... Oh, well then, I can just go, hello, I'm a Minion. There you go, that was an awesome impression.
I should have done that one.
I know of the concept of minions, but I know not what they sound like. I'm afraid.
There you go, that's a Minion.
That sounded like Morph.
Fucking... Right, next question, Snag.